Yo.
Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 83.
80 motherfluffing 3?
83. I'm still in the hospital
Yeah.
today. In
Yeah.
case you guys didn't notice, the docs still haven't released me.
You look like
But
shit.
welcome, man. Yeah, thanks, dude. I actually feel really good. Surprisingly better than I have in probably months, man.
Good.
So
Why?
it's pretty awesome. I don't know. I think I might have had that shit going on for a long time and just didn't, kind of dealt with it. So the drugs they gave me to clear it up, I think did some magic.
Cool.
Yeah. So how's stuff going, dude? What's going on with you? Anything
Fantastic. Awakener 8 is dead.
Dead?
I think he's in farm status.
What about
now.
Awakener 9?
There's no Awakener 9.
Why not?
I don't know. I would do it.
They should build one.
I would do Awakener 16.
Yeah, do it up.
OP,
But that's cool. That seems like a pretty big feat to get Awakener 8 dead. You were pretty proud of that.
In SSF. No.
In SSF.
Yeah.
World's first.
Of
Awakener
course.
8?
Yeah. World first Venom Gyre, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
On SSF. I don't know. Maybe. Probably not.
Maybe. Yeah. World's most recent. We'll give you that title. How's that?
Thanks.
You're welcome. So, yeah, same old. Let's hit up the polls from last week and get straight into it. No fluffing around today.
I hate that on Reddit. You go to read a post and it's got like a tag that says fluff. I'm always like, that's offensive to me. All right. The poll from last week. I'll spam in chat super quick, actually. Should next season's theme be just as OP as this one? Or should we scale the power back? Option 1, not more power, 150 solo risk for the win. Or option 2, Bruo. It's way too OP. Way too OP.
So OP. It's way too OP. That's gonna win.
You think?
Yes.
What do you vote though? Is that what you vote?
I don't care. Yeah, just to be different from this season. So sure.
I'm gonna say OP as fuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that too.
Voting?
Definitely one. Let's see.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Why is there such a divide in the Diablo community?
That's a closer vote than I thought, but I'm surprised that the 150s won. Honestly,
56% of the vote says more power, 150 solo risk for the win, and 44% says, "Bro, it's way too OP."
Here's the thing: like this, it seems to me like this season died faster than any season I've ever seen. Like it was within, and it could have been PoE drop in.
I think the season before this one died faster because that was a 1 week. It was classic WoW plus a 1 week before PoE League started.
That could be. I didn't really play that season either, so it could be too.
Yeah.
But this one, I wanted to grind out the season, and I was just like, man, this is Ghost Town. I couldn't even get groups of people to play with, let alone do metas. I'm just like, anybody playing Diablo tonight?
Yeah.
So, is it because of the 150 power? Is it because of the same end game? I'm not sure. We've seen the OP season. I want to see a season of famine a little bit now. Like I want to see. Let's take the drops back, and I would like to see him get rid of the Hadri's gifts and like all that shit.
Sure.
No.
I mean,
I don't know.
I'm for the Hadri's gift being taken out, but I don't think it will make that big of an impact. I think it'll only make the game like harder for those filthy casuals.
Yeah.
For us, it's like or at least I'll be like fully geared at day one, no matter what. It doesn't matter.
Probably so.
It's gonna slow me down.
It's gonna slow me down, but for like
2 hours,
4 or 5 hours.
2 hours, man.
I mean, you're gonna have a team of whatever you need.
If you're SSF, then fuck, you're like it's gonna be a little slower. But if you're in a group, nah, that's fine.
Yeah, I would love to have some kind of seasonal theme ideas that I feel could draw people in longer than 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but I don't know how it's possible at this point.
Sure.
I don't have ideas.
Okay.
The season of famine would be the only thing I could think of just to slow down progression, but that may have the exact opposite effect. That might make people just be like, "This is stupid as fuck."
I'll tell you one seasonal theme idea that they might still have assets for. And before we jump into that, we're going to talk about super briefly the next
the poll.
Okay.
Yep.
So next week's poll, and this is about to tie into what we're about to talk about. Should Diablo 4 have charms? So if you guys didn't play Diablo 2, charms were basically an item that took up space in your inventory. They could be like a 1x1. They could be like a 1x4. And they would just give your character, either stats or some kind of ability. It's like Hellfire Charm, which gave you like Fire Novas. They did a whole bunch of things. But the caveat, obviously, would be it took up a whole bunch of inventory space. So the less room you'd have to pick stuff up and the more town runs you're making. But is it a good compromise?
Is it a good trade-off?
Right.
Yeah.
But let us know what you guys think. And we'll talk about that next week. But the reason I bring this up. Okay. So originally, I found this post like from forever ago. And it's been on like the filler. We have this like filler section of the podcast. Right. So we're like, it's topics we throw in case we can't find anything else to talk about. But I've been dying to talk about this one because it's really interesting. And I didn't know about it. But, if you were around Diablo 3 back then, it was pretty common knowledge. But I guess way back in the day of Diablo 3, there was what was called the Talisman system. Okay. So the Talisman was this kind of weird circle grid. I think all said and done, I had what, 3, 6, 9, 12 sockets in it. And each socket was a 1x1 charm. But like you didn't get the effects of the charm if they were just in your inventory. They had to be in your talisman. And the talisman could have 12 sockets in it.
Okay.
So you just get, I'm sure back in vanilla Diablo 3, it was just like probably main stat or I don't know. But it's pretty interesting.
When was this in the game?
This was in the game when it was showcased at BlizzCon.
Yeah, this wasn't ever in vanilla.
No.
I don't remember this.
No, it was not.
And I definitely played day one.
Right.
So, or tried to play day one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it was in like the first year of the build, and then they like showed it again. Yeah. And then they didn't have it the second time. And it was right next to the bootsies. So it was like down here on the bottom right, which is interesting.
Do we have any screenshots of what they actually did?
I don't think so. I think they're like, it was honestly just stuff like, plus strength or whatever back in those days.
Pretty interesting.
But it was like, it's kind of like, in Diablo 4, they showed us like the talent tree, and it was like just there. It was just probably, a placeholder. It's probably the same thing here. But I would bet they still have some of these assets lying around.
Yeah. So you think that for a season they could put a talisman in? Yeah.
What if these talismans were like, they could be runes on skills, they could be legendary powers, they could be legendary gems, they could be.
What if they were like seasonal only things too that would go away at the end of the season?
Yeah.
And you kept the talisman. Or what if you acquired them in the season, so playing the season actually fucking mattered instead of cosmetics?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they could keep them.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. That would be interesting. That's cool. Right. I wonder. That's a good thought, man. I wonder if they still have these resources laying around. It's like Cube 2.0.
Right. Kind of, well, kind of, but maybe a little bit more freedom. Because like, so say you could get like, we'll say maybe they could like start out with 6 and just to see like how it would, impact the game or whatever. But you could have like things like, okay, 20% more poison damage, or, maybe Corpse Lance gets the effect of this rune, or
maybe you could have main stat.
Maybe you could have main stat.
I'm totally fucking joking.
Yeah. Stat. But like, it might be all right. It might be all right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the Diablo thing. So
yeah.
Diablo is all about that charms. It could be something. But you know what I was thinking of? And it's on the schedule. But I figured out what Diablo I feel like is massively lacking. And we kind of touched on it a little bit last week. Diablo has nothing where you're really risking. You're not putting anything at risk, right? So like before we started the podcast last week, I slammed one of my claws and I fucking destroyed it.
You made some mistakes. Okay.
And Diablo doesn't have anything like that at all. Like, you can't brick an item. You can't take an item that's really good for your character and like try to gamble to make it even better, and then you just fuck it. And I think that sucks.
I agree.
I think
there's not a lot of risk. The only risk is dying in hardcore. That's really the only. And I think you could re-roll a primal and fuck it up, but that's just
right.
You know,
and I think mechanics like that can really keep you going, because I feel like you had to re-farm the item basically if you ended up breaking it, and I think that would add a lot of playtime to Diablo 3. So say we had, instead of this talisman thing, you could slam. So say Diablo 3 got exalted orbs, right? So you could just slam another thing onto an item, another stat. And so say it was anything from like 20% more poison damage to Corpse Lance gets this rune, but you could also be like, you get Wizard Fire and Nova rune on a fucking Necro. Like, you could totally just like, wow, this is completely fucking worthless, right?
Right.
Or it can make the item disappear, or like all those things. But at the same time, you could have like this insane fucking Pestilence chest piece that you'll never ever get probably again in any season to follow, that rolled like another rune on Corpse Lance or something like that, and it's gonna be really fucking good for pushing. I don't know.
Yeah,
or for
I can see that. I think
out of the wheelhouse,
for
right?
Sure. I think they would help. Those things would help the playability. I don't think the game is going to really ever be super addicting again until it's got more end game activities, and I don't think it ever will have more end game activities. But those things would go a long way. The talisman idea, or like you're saying, the gambles,
right?
Those threats.
I definitely would give it. How much more replayability would it give it though if you had like you're farming Pestilence and you get that chest and then you like break the chest, and so like, well, I have to go farm another ancient chest. Like, I don't have a choice. Like, I have to go do that.
Yeah.
Like that's
a
so
little
much.
bit. I think it would help some. It would help some. It would definitely give you those more highs and lows.
Sure.
Like, like that, because that's what we really seek. We seek those highs.
Yeah.
And the lows come along with it. When you screw something up.
Right. And it lends itself towards, one, more streamer moments, right? So you're like, poof, and you fucking break the item and chat laughs at you. Right. Or two, like, those Reddit posts were like, bros, like, look what I fucking got. And like, you have like this, we could do like an item showcase like every fucking week on the podcast. Like, look what this fucking guy got. Like, this is insane.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Go downvote this shit right now.
Right.
Look what he got. Yeah.
100%.
I'm with you.
It'd be so fun.
So, how much effort did it take you to re-get the item you screwed up on last week, right before the podcast last week? How long did it take you? It took you an entire week to get it? You just got it today?
I got it. Oh, okay. Yesterday? Maybe no, Sunday. So like
Sunday. So it took a couple days. It took me a while to get it. So until you got that, were you garbage? Like,
no. I mean, I had a backup ish. Yeah. But it was definitely a noticeable gimp.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that would make some fun. I just wish there was some kind of easy win in-game activity they could put in. Because I think if you could get like 2 or 3 of those little things in there with it, it would go a long way. If you could have something else to do besides just greater rifts, But I just don't see in the framework of the game what they could possibly have us do.
Yeah. Within the framework of the game, like the only thing that comes to mind is something we super briefly touched on, where it's like just a bonus objective in a GR. Like, that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah. Like a
bounty inside of a GR.
A cursed chest inside of a greater rift or something.
I don't know.
But and those might end up distracting and making the game worse too. So
I think the only way that works, so say poof, we got cursed chest inside the GR or something. The only way that works is if you're doing the cursed chest because it drops something that could only drop from that event.
Yes.
It's the only way it works. If you're just doing the cursed chest to get like more loot of what you already get, like, people are just gonna ignore it and just like
it's gotta be like a royal ring. It has to be specifically tied to that event. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I never saw that, and it's been something it's been itching to talk about for a long time.
Yeah, that code could still be lingering in there, man.
Maybe
dig up those demo builds, boys.
Yeah.
Copy paste. Copy pasta.
Hell yeah, dude. And then one of the things I saw pop up on Reddit this week, Brandy replied to, So this person said, so is Diablo Immortal canceled? I thought it'd be coming this year or something. And so Brandy says, short answer, no, it's not canceled. More robust answer is we showed some additional progress at BlizzCon this year, but largely let Diablo 4 have the spotlight. There's a lot of talk of Diablo. There's a lot of Diablo to talk about, but we're trying to make sure that every game has room to breathe and stand separately, which helps avoid confusion about each project. And so, you know, I went and had coffee with Wyatt Chang. Super nice guy. He was nice enough to have a cup of coffee with me in the morning. And so he did touch to this, right? So he said, like, you know, one of the things that we like wanted to unveil this year was the ultimates, right? So he was like, we're really excited about the ultimate abilities in Diablo Immortal. Like every character has like some ulti that eventually you build up enough power and you can unleash it. But, you know, ultimates are also kind of controversial. Like you might really like, you might not really not. And so if we announced, you know, ultimates for Diablo Immortal this year, someone's going to think that we announced ultimates for Diablo 4. Like, and that's just going to be a thing. And like people will freak out about the design process and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Where he thinks that, you know, it really works in Diablo Immortal and it really works in like a mobile game type setting. But he's like, it might not be the right answer for Diablo 4 and we don't want to cause any kind of confusion. So he just like, it was just such a bad, because I was talking to him like, you blew me away at BlizzCon, because I was like, man, I wish we like, before we left, I was like, man, I hope they have a demo for Diablo Immortal, because I just want to see how far along it's come. And it wasn't there, and I was like, fuck. And then you're like, no, it's right over there. And I had no fucking clue that it was even there, because I didn't even like talk about it. It was just like there on the floor.
Yeah, no advertisements, no nothing.
Right.
People were playing it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I didn't notice the ultimate even being in the game. Like it was in that build that we played.
Yeah.
Did you notice the ultimate?
Yeah.
I don't think I even noticed the ultimate. Like I don't know what I was doing. But,
I mean,
or if I used it, I didn't think like, oh, this is new. It's a badass ultimate. Like it just didn't trigger to me like, oh, this is something new. You know? So
yeah. And I will say, like every single time I walked by the Diablo Immortal demo session, like there's people in line. I think. Yeah. And that was not the case in 2018.
It was pretty busy. Yeah.
Well, maybe because they had way less demo stations, like way less.
Well, no, dude, it was dead in 2018.
But yeah, they also had like a billion phones
I
set
think
up.
we could have got a picture in 2018 of just us in the demo booth, like with nobody else even there. It was so ghost town.
Yeah.
So, no, it was, and they had tablets set up this time, which I think was a much better presentation, at least than phones. But
right. But yeah,
I don't know, man. We haven't heard anything about Immortal, and I honestly expected it to be released before BlizzCon last year. So it does kind of make you wonder, like, what are they doing with this?
I think that they're just like,
I think it's PR. I think at this point the game's probably done. They're just like, fuck, man.
Honestly,
like,
they're probably just pumping more content into it, because I think that they probably did have a plan to release probably shortly after BlizzCon 2018, but you know, because of the crowd reaction and people are like, well, it's just a mobile game, like how good could it be? They want to maybe kind of showcase it. Yeah, like even though it is a mobile game, it can be great, and they're adding all this like content to it. That's the impression that I get. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like they just keep adding more. They trickle in more.
Maybe it'll headline next BlizzCon, you know?
Maybe. Headline. No, but
what do they got for next BlizzCon? They did Shadowlands at this one.
Well, what do you mean? What do they have to do? Like for me, if they have another demo, right? Like if it's just Diablo 4 version 2 demo, I'm happy just based on that.
It's going to be the same. It'll be the same. Well, Shadowlands will have launched, I think.
Yeah.
So, and then Overwatch 2, I don't know about. So Overwatch 2 demo and more juice on that. Diablo 4 demo again, more juice.
Yeah, more juice, right? The other characters announced and all that stuff. Classes, I mean.
Yeah. I expect Diablo Immortal to get something by summer.
Sure.
Like you would think by summer. If not, it's been almost a year and a half since the announcement with really nothing. Like they just went stone cold silent on it. Maybe an Eastern release. Man, it's weird. Like you said, you went to China, you saw all the people on their cell phones.
It was crazy.
I mean, I think that changed perspective, So
yeah. Or, you know, there's that whole could be D2 remastered, the 20-year anniversary. There's that still.
Yeah, next year for BlizzCon.
And when they said multiple, right? So I get triggered. Do you get triggered by that word? Like anytime someone says multiple, like for the rest of my life, I'll probably be like, ugh.
I don't think it triggers me, but it to me it seems like you're masking the number. Like, just tell me the number. Like, we got 3 projects, we got 4 projects.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
got 1.
But to me, multiple doesn't mean 2.
No.
So there's got to be something else.
So we got confirmation and then ghosted on the Netflix show.
True.
Right? That's a project that got ghosted. I guess. I don't know. Is it canceled? I'm not sure. DI, so. Diablo Immortal was that's 2. Diablo 4, obviously they were including that in there, so that's 3. And do you think they're considering the new sets and things for Diablo 3?
No, that's not a project. No.
You don't think?
No. It's content. It's not a project.
Okay. So we got 3. 3 is classified as multiple. I don't think. I mean
2 is classified as multiple.
No, it's not. If you say multiple, you're talking about 2. Then come on, man.
I know that's super.
You're being shady.
Yeah, it's being super shady.
Yeah.
But to me, it's also kind of shady to be like, oh yeah, multiple projects. You know, one of them's a Netflix TV show. It's like, well, like you're a gaming company. Like we don't like.
I mean, dude, if they kill it, like Witcher was awesome.
No, great, but it's not like, I don't know. When Blizzard says multiple projects, I assume Blizzard is working on games.
You assume video games, and I agree with that assumption. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
And I would want a Diablo TV show, not a cartoon. And I think it's going to be like an animated cartoon, right?
Probably.
So like I mean, it's cool, but it's not like, it's not what we really want.
Right.
So what other I mean, Diablo 2 remaster, if it falls in there. And then that's it. There could be no other projects. What other projects could they possibly have?
Diablo 5.
Yeah, they're just gonna skip 4 altogether.
They're resurrecting the Diablo Witcher game.
Yeah,
maybe
the over the shoulder action game. Okay.
World
of Diablo Craft.
And then another post I read, and I was like, okay, I don't really care, but at the same time, I'm like, he's kind of right. So you know how you were doing a campaign in Diablo 3, and you're just like walking around, and you're like in the zone of Ariat, right? Like Asmodan's the zone, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like you're just killing monsters, and you get to like a checkpoint or something, and then Asmodan talks to you.
Right.
It's like,
what?
Where are you coming from? Right. So this guy calls the evil walkie-talkies. And I gotta say, you know what? I kind of agree. I think it's pretty stupid. I never really even thought about it because I'm not like a story guy or a campaign driven kind of guy, but it is pretty stupid. Like I totally agree.
That happens a lot in a lot of games.
Sure.
And the post goes on to say something that I completely agree with too. He talks about how the evils always tell you their master plan. Like always. Yeah. How cliche is that when it's like,
right,
you're never gonna stop me. I'm gonna go burn this city down and do this and this and this. And then you're like, dude, I'm still alive. Like, why are you telling me this? Yeah, I think a good plot twist is cool. It's in the age of spoilers that we live in now. It's hard to really do those things well, but I could agree with that. Yeah, get rid of the walkie-talkies, man. Make it like if you want to have him tell a narrative, let him capture you somehow.
Right.
And then he can spoil his evil plan.
Right.
So
I don't know. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like again, it's like that the super brief thing we talked about last week, where it's like we should never see like the shadowy terror that exists, right? Like it's like a Sauron thing in Lord of the Rings. You never see him.
Yeah, and we gotta step it. Like you can't keep kicking the same primeval's asses every game. Like I know it's Diablo 4. It's Diablo. He's in the name of the game. But like maybe we don't fight him in Diablo 4. Maybe we set this shit up for Diablo 5. Maybe something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
What bad guys can make new bad guys? Like Lilith is obviously new in the video game universe. We haven't fought her. We didn't fight her in D1, did we? I don't even.
I think in D2 you like for a special event you could fight Lilith. but it was just a reskinned Endario.
All right. So new bad guys are awesome and new story. And if they put Diablo in it, I don't know, man. He's got to be something special.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you would do, but if he is not the hardest thing in the game, even after DLC comes out, I'm slightly bummed out. You know?
I think it would be weird to me to play a Diablo game where, you know, the big bad guy isn't Diablo. I don't know. Maybe Diablo 5, but I feel like...
Would you be okay with him being a planned DLC later down?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Like, you know, Lilith is the main bad guy.
Sure.
And then, you know, expansion 1, whatever, man. You get whoever.
We don't really know Lilith is a bad guy. Lilith could be on our side.
She could be the good guy, yeah. I'm down. She's kind of sexy, you know? That blood cape thing she's got going on.
Yeah.
And the horns.
Yeah. All that goes away, though, apparently. You know, she becomes, like, pale and...
Oh, she looks like normal, like a normal human?
Maleficent, basically.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Angelina's okay.
Sure.
You know, did she do the CG work for it, too?
Mm-hmm. That fucking Endario, or not Endario, Lilith, they on stage, like, who was streaming? Was it Leviathan?
Leviathan.
She was fucking on point, dude. That's insane. And she was
he
like
didn't even know that she
tall.
was coming up to fuck with him too, I believe. Like, I would just been like, yo, what's up? You know? So, craziness.
Yeah. But, you know, one of the things I also wanted to touch on, right? And I don't know why it came up. I think this is why. I get it now. Okay, so in Diablo, you know, area damage. Like, area damage doesn't necessarily increase your sheet. Same with, like, elemental damage. Doesn't necessarily increase your sheet. And so players really never know, like, you know, let me put this item on. Is it an upgrade? And then you're like, your sheet damage goes down. And you're like, oh, no, it must not be. But it probably is. And PoE suffers from that, like, big time. Big time. Especially the builds I like to play, which are, like, damage over time, poison, chaos builds. Like, none of those ever get factored in the sheet. So there's no way of knowing if something's an upgrade unless you, like, copy-paste it and pull it into, like, a third-party program.
Right.
Basically. And I fucking hate that.
I do, too.
Like,
I don't understand why the math has to be ridiculously, like, is this multiplicative? Is this additive? Is this fucking, like, why can't it? Okay, all of our damage numbers are multiplicative across the board. So now you know how that works.
Right.
And then just go with it. And if you want to tweak an item more or less, make the number bigger or smaller.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Like, Diablo 3 was one of the worst sufferers about that, especially, like, vanilla ROS. It's like, is this additive damage? Is this additive skill damage? Is this a damage multiplier? Is this, like, additive elemental multiplier?
And then elemental is multiplicative, and then multiplicative is really additive, but then you subtract. Yeah, dude, it doesn't make sense. You have to have, like, a fucking PhD in fucking rocket science to figure out how it's going, or use a calculator. I agree with those things a lot. You know, nobody's gonna break out a piece of paper and just be like, oh, is this plus or minus damage, because you don't know.
Right.
And sheet damage is just a general barometer. Like, maybe. Okay. Let's check it out.
I will say
test dummies are also something really cool too.
True.
You know?
Yeah. I will say, you know, push comes to shove, and I have to choose between, you know, PoE hidden damage versus attack and defense. I'm gonna go with the PoE hidden damage. Right. Okay. That's way too simple. That's way too simple.
Attack and damage is way too simple.
Oh my god. Attack and defense. Yeah.
Defense is what I meant. Yeah.
It's stupid.
What are your thoughts on the test on a target dummy?
Great. I mean, you know, Lost Ark has the ability to, like, spawn in mobs. You can spawn in, like, waves of mobs. You can spawn in a boss to, like, measure, like, how much damage you do versus a single target. Yeah. I think
is it free? Like, this is easy, no consequences. Can you test it, or can they kill you?
They can kill you, but, like, in the test zone, like, it doesn't matter. Like,
so, like, if you're doing hardcore, you can test zone and die, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's no hardcore in Lost Ark.
So, you said Lost Ark. I was thinking PoE. I'm tripping. No. Yeah, Lost Ark. I've seen that. I've done theirs before.
Mm-hmm.
So for some reason, I thought you said PoE.
No.
So I'm tripping.
Sorry. I don't think PoE does, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, Lost Ark even lets you play with builds before you get them.
Yeah.
Like you can go in and test at least subclasses before you choose them and other things. So I agree. It's a pretty cool system.
Right.
But I like test dummies. I think test dummies would be nice to be able to test. Like, okay.
I don't like test dummies where they're just like stationary, like scarecrows or whatever.
Yeah. Let me spawn in a boss. Like I'm gonna spawn in Diablo at Greater Rift 100 difficulty, and let's see how long does it take me to kill him.
Right.
Okay. Took me a minute. Switch my gear up. Took me 50 seconds. All right. Cool. You know.
Well, I don't want to be able to spawn in like the hardest boss or something like that.
No, you need something just to soak up damage.
Right.
And then you also would need a mechanic to damage you back so you can test your toughness too. So
shouldn't be able to like practice boss fights before you go in there or anything like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
And then you had something on the
So I keep seeing this Diablo 4 offline mode is like one of the highest trending Reddit topics for weeks now.
Llama was all about the offline
and yeah, man, and it blows my mind because I am 100% like it's 2020. Like why I get not everybody has good internet. I understand. But that's kind of the world you live in at this point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your characters are going to be saved online. Your gameplay sessions are going to be with other, online communities and peoples, and it drives stuff together. I don't know. Like, I could understand not having access to the internet and trying to play the game. That's really the only argument. And man, I got to think, like, how rare is that somebody wouldn't have any internet access?
I mean, I approach it from a super selfish perspective, right? So like offline mode means, mods means basically altering the game files to your own advantage.
Yeah, using cheat engines and hacks and
that's
trainers.
Fine if you never ever merge the two, right? Like if Diablo 4 is gonna have an offline mode, it's fine. But like it's basically like picking SSF. Like you don't get to ever bring your character online because then it's busted as fuck. So I'm fine with that, but I don't think that's what people are obviously wanting. People want to be able to, like, I don't know, farm offline and then connect. I don't understand the point. Like, and we're probably the worst people to even play devil's advocate on this because like it's just
because we're so connected.
Yeah,
right?
it's just
I got a cat cable in my elbow right now, just feeding me internet.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, I'd love to hear the argument of people that really, really want offline
StarCraft had an offline mode, if I remember correctly, when it first launched. I don't know if it still does, but when StarCraft 2 first launched, I remember it was like 2012-ish, 2010. I don't remember when StarCraft 2 dropped, somewhere in that time frame. And I had to travel for my job frequently back then. And I do remember playing StarCraft offline in the airport on my laptop, like waiting. I had like a 2-hour layover for a plane. And so I pulled my laptop out and I started playing StarCraft. And some dude was like, "Oh, yo, what's up, StarCraft, man?" And like tried to have a whole conversation. And I remember that, but it's like that's the only moment in my life that I can remember in the last 15 years where I haven't had access to internet if I wanted to play something, And my mom lives way out in the middle of the country, and like she has really shitty internet. So if I lived at her house, I guess, I would not be able to online game efficiently. But, like she can't even hardly watch Netflix. So like if you that's cool. Break out your SNES, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
It's crazy the amount of upvotes it got, though. So clearly there are people out there that care for it.
Yeah. I don't.
And the modding community, I could see that maybe being a thing. If, like you said, 100%, if your character is online, he only ever touches online servers. He never has an offline version.
Right.
Available.
It shouldn't be like Switch where you can like, oh, let me just connect now. No. You need to be separate always.
And I think from a game publisher perspective, piracy is a huge thing too.
Right.
Like think about solo offline games. People are going to pirate those and steal them. If you have to connect to their servers, that makes that much more difficult.
Yeah.
Like you're not pirating World of Warcraft. I mean, I guess people have private servers now, but it's a lot harder to pirate WoW than it would be to pirate like GTA offline campaign or like whatever, you know. So for the company, it makes more sense too. That's it, man. That was my kind of my little thing. I was kind of like, I can't believe that this is still such a trending topic. And
yeah, I mean, I hope that like, I don't know, within the next 5 years, we just make crazy advancements on internet. Because honestly, like the only thing that really stops me like from like poof, right? Like I sell my house, I get the fuck out of Dodge, and I like get a sailboat, you know, live in Hawaii, like on the water or some crazy shit. Because like I wouldn't have internet, and I wouldn't want to live without internet. Like I really wouldn't.
My uncle did that. My uncle legit did that.
Right.
Had, you know, very successful businessman.
Sure.
Sold all his shit, lives on the fucking boat. He like has this dope ass sailboat, and he lives on this sailboat.
That'd be the shit.
You know, he's like, I got Verizon. You know, he's got a Verizon cell phone. He tethers and watches TV and shit with his cell phone.
Yeah, but like, could never do that with gaming. Right?
Yeah, you're fucking crazy, dude. Yeah. Like, there's no way. There's no
I would
way
love
I'd
that.
ever do that.
I would love that.
He's like, oh, hurricane's coming. I'm just gonna sail. Fucking, he just sails away. Like, I'll come back in a couple weeks when it's gone.
Man,
it's
dope.
insane. So
that'd be dope. That'd be so like it's a dream, like to have a sailboat, but have like built a custom like motorcycle ramp. And I just like when I get somewhere, just like put down the ramp, get off on the motorcycle.
I'm sure he has something dope. Like that. You know, I don't know. His sailboat's worth more than my house. So whatever. You know.
But that's like the only thing that keeps me. Is it's just like internet. Like if I couldn't have like 500 megs, like what? No, I like to stream. I like to fucking game. Yeah, no way.
Need that juice, man. That consistent juice. And then something else, kind of in the lines. We were talking about Lost Ark a little bit, but unfortunately, I read.
This is crazy.
Where did you read this,
by the way?
So I at first saw a YouTube video of somebody, and then I started Googling it, and I saw a post on Reddit, and I didn't actually see a Smilegate official article, but I saw several websites that referenced the same thing. But what they're saying is apparently Smilegate, which is the makers of Lost Ark, announced that there's no plans at the moment to bring Lost Ark to the West. And like meaning Europe or North America. And that blows my mind. And they said that the reasoning for that is the translation is too hard and too time consuming. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, dude, that they've already like community guys have already done it. I mean, it's a shitty translation, but it's functional. And like, you don't even have to do you think American consumers would be that pissed off if you just left the Korean voiceovers in the game?
You could
just had like actual real translated text that made sense,
or you just take the voice acting out. Like it doesn't really, to me, I don't really care for voice acting.
I've some of the cutscenes, the voice acting's missing. It feels a little quiet. Like you kind of need, even if you don't understand it, the little.
But you could be like, it'd be like you could like type it out. Like the old ARPGs,
the little text noise thing. Yeah, I think the voices show emotion even if you don't know what they're saying. You can still tell. Oh, she's sad, she's happy, she's pissed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Sure.
But I mean, that it just sucks, man. And then so some of the views from people on Reddit and things were saying that they feel like with a lot of the Korean games, once the game starts to dry up in that market, that's when they'll start focusing on getting it to the West.
Right.
They're like, oh, we're not making money anymore. Let's tap a new market for this.
I've always wondered, like, the fact that, I mean, probably only like half a dozen English streamers even still play Lost Ark. And I gotta wonder, like, if they see that and they're like, well, they're still not into it, so maybe like we shouldn't release in the West. But I wonder also how much of that's like, well, for me, I would probably still play it a lot, at least for PvP. PvE, I would get pretty burned out on, and it would probably go away after a bit. But the fact that I just can't do PvP because of my ping, like I literally just can't.
I played it like 2 or 3 days in a row just to see, and there was a little bit of people there like, oh hey, Lost Ark, like there were some new people that came in, but all in all, I was the only person in the directory streaming it. at the
Right.
time. Nobody else was even there, and so it was pretty dead at that point. And the Russian servers, either like this week or in the next coming weeks, they just had an update, and the update adds some pay to progress system. I'll say it's not pay to win, it's pay to progress.
Mm.
They added a currency onto upgrading equipment that wasn't there in the Korean version. Specifically, people think to price gouge, and people have ways to get around it and, like, not have to spend it, but it looks like they made some bad choices.
Yeah.
So
Bummer.
hopefully they revert some of that, but you know,
Great.
who knows? Yeah. So it seems like Lost Ark is kind of like in a bad spot, and that really sucks, man. Because I had so much fun
Yeah.
playing the game. So
Yeah, man. I
it
think
just
the PvP could hard carry in the US, but
yeah,
we'll never know. Hopefully Diablo 4 PvP is good.
yeah. I mean, take some example. What if they separated combat in Diablo 4 and like PvP was straight Lost Ark style cooldowns and abilities?
I don't know, man.
It wouldn't fit though. The game played so much like Diablo 3.
Yeah, I think
know?
that it wouldn't be great also because like you don't want to like so say you're someone who doesn't necessarily love PvP and then you go to try it out and it's
totally
like
different.
a totally different game. Like that doesn't feel that you want to be like go in there with the skills you're familiar with and not run around not knowing what's going on.
Lost Ark also natively supported a controller. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah. And I kind of feel like the game translated decently well to a controller.
I always said that week after week.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy.
Hmm.
But, so it just makes me think about, Diablo 4 and then what they're going to end up doing and movement and control. I could see controller-based PvP being pretty ridiculous with the movement. Like I think a left stick movement versus mouse click movement could be pretty spot on. Aiming might be more difficult though. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But if it's never to come to the West, then Blizzard should straight up just copy paste the code. Just take it. Just take the combat. Take Lost Ark and just put it in the Diablo universe and we're fucking good to go. Add way more PvE content than Lost Ark.
I mean, you could make another, somebody could steal that combat system and make an ARPG and just slay with it. Man.
Yeah.
PoE 2.0, something.
Do it.
I don't know. Do it up.
Fuck yeah.
So what about Wolcen?
Yeah. So no, but they did release a post.
Okay.
Talking about crafting.
Okay.
So, one of the crafting things that they're going to have is like basically socketed items. Like, we know from Diablo 3. And, the basic things you can add would be like, plus 6 attack speed or 6% attack speed, 6% spell speed or both and health regen, blah, blah, blah. So you can put these, they get like tiers of offensive, defensive, and support gems, right? And so the gear itself, the sockets can roll like, 3 defensive 3 slots or, 2 support 2 slots with a 1 defensive 1 slot. And you can, slot in these specific skill gems based on that. And that
tiered gems and tiered sockets.
Right. And that is pretty boring. But the thing that makes it somewhat interesting is so an item can have 6 stats apparently, or at least like a rare or unique, legendary maybe. I don't know if they even talk about that, but in this particular example that they give us, they've got these regions where basically, you can add one of the gem stats to the implicits of the item. So say the item has 5 stats, it's got room for one more thing. If you like socket something you want and then use like a specific region, you can get another stat of what you want onto the item. And then it keeps the sockets and you can like put, new sockets once it's rerolled or whatever. So you can like add implicits based on what you want to add to the item, which is somewhat interesting. But where it actually gets interesting is they very briefly touch on at the very end is that there will be gems, because if it's just this system, like, that's so fucking boring. It is
Right.
just this is still better than what we saw in Diablo 4. I will say that. It's still better because, I mean, Diablo 4's itemization is just the most simplistic, basic shit. But what makes it interesting is you can add, like, special gems drop in the end game. So they can be apparently a wide array of things, like maybe adding skills that you wouldn't normally have access to your particular build or whatever. Like, it sounds like they have some pretty unique things, and that's where it gets interesting, is that maybe you could add these unique powers into the implicits of your gear plus the sockets, you know. Then maybe it gets interesting. It's hard to tell because, you know, we don't really know, right, until the game comes out. But I will say I was pretty unimpressed, like, overall with this system. But again, at the end of the day, it still is better than what we saw in Diablo 4, and that's exciting.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you about Diablo 4's itemization. I hope we're going to get way better than that before it's all said and done. But yeah, it's okay. I mean, I agree with you. I skimmed that article too, and it didn't jump out at me like, oh, this is amazing. Like, okay.
Right.
You know, like, if we can eventually, like you're saying, use those special gems and put, those abilities
Cool
on
stats,
pieces of loot.
Right.
But did it say? I don't remember. Do you remember if it said if it were limited to how many times you could do that on a whole set of gear?
I
If
think
you could do it to every item, that would be pretty OP.
I don't know. I think it.
I don't remember reading that, but I could have said I don't know.
I don't know. Someone can correct us in the comments, but I didn't see any limit to how many times you do it. So if you get like a white item, and if you had enough, I assume these regions will not be that easy to get, and you could, like, completely customize the item to how you want. I don't know.
Yeah, the multiplayer of Wolcen is something that I want to check out and see what it feels like and see what the end game feels like. So, how long did they push that back again? Do you remember? We talked about it last week, but I can't remember.
I don't have the date off the top of my head. No idea.
Checking it.
And then, you know, its sister game, basically Last Epoch, with Sneaky Steve.
Sneaky fucking Steve, man.
They went into, like, they made this developer blog, and it says making skills feel more responsive. And in it, they talk about, like, skill mechanics, like skill casting mechanics. And I was curious to your opinion on this. So they basically they broke a skill down into 3, basically just casting mechanics. Okay, so they have what's called anticipation, which is basically the time it takes for your character to begin casting the spell. And they have like a little GIF that goes off to show you what they mean. And then they have impact, is the moment in which the skill actually fires.
Okay.
And then they have follow through, which is the time it takes for your character to basically reset back to normal after you've cast the skill. So what it sounds like is that these will actually maybe even be 3 separate stats, which to me would be like, well, why not just have like one?
Yeah, that's horrible. That's attack speed, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't know. I think that it could be interesting. I don't know. Like, you gear up your follow through so you could reset super fast. I don't know. And then they go on to talk about.
I don't know if they're breaking these down into more skills, or they're just saying this is the flow that happens.
That's the impression I got, because it's like, why even talk about that? Because these are very specific words as well, like anticipation, impact, follow through. I don't know. I would think that, like, these are mechanics that we're going to be looking out for in the future. I don't think that's just something that they would just drop.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played Last Epoch, so I don't know what it felt like before.
Sure.
But that's cool that they're at least addressing the issue of, hey, the game doesn't feel as good as we want it to.
Sure.
So let's juice it up. But if they made 3 separate stats for those, that's the dumbest shit I think I've ever heard of. That's just like, that's what attack speed is, man. You know, so let's fix that and just call it attack speed.
You can make an argument for both, because it's like, well, Yeah, it is just attack speed, but then like if you're like, well, let's just combine all stats, you know, like, and so eventually you just have attack and defense.
I guess, man. So what are you gonna like? You're gonna lower your anticipation, but your impact and follow through are still gonna be super slow. So it's like, okay,
I don't know.
do it again. I mean, it just seems dumb to me. But I'm with you. So we'd have to see what they do,
Right.
and how it works.
And then they go on, like, they're talking about all the skills that they're updating, which is a lot. I will say, you know, again, we say week after week, it's like of all the betas for MMOs I've played, like I didn't play a Lost Ark beta. It was a launch.
Yeah.
This showed the most promise as far as complexity is concerned. I think that I think they have some PoE minded guys over there. I think they have some, you know, Diablo 2 fans over there. And I will say, like, what we've seen is like better. I just hope they can like somehow work it all out and make it like, visually better, and I don't know, come up with yeah, they have some good ideas, and it looks promising, but I don't know, it might suffer from the PoE problem where by the time it's finally ready, the graphic engine that it's on looks like shit.
Yeah, it's just too dated.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm with you. I'm Sneaky Steve tainted me for last APOC. I'm not gonna lie. Like I had talked to them and they had given me alpha access and stuff. And then once I found out that was Sneaky Steve asking those questions, it just totally turned me off. I never played it. I was just like, just felt so dirty to me. I really wonder if that was sanctioned by them. If they're like, yeah, we're gonna pay you to go to.
No, I mean,
If Sneaky Steve just did it.
No, I mean, yeah. So we played last epoch, and like the devs came in chat, and I straight up asked them. I was like, what do you guys think about, like, you know, Sneaky Steve doing what he did? And he's like,
yeah.
I mean, he does what he wants. That's Steve, you know. It doesn't seem like
that's what he wants.
Right.
Steve does what he wants because he's sneaky.
Sure.
All right, Sneaky Steve.
Right.
So, yeah, it's, you know, we'll keep an eye on it, but Wolcen, I think Wolcen has some promise to it, and that's something I'm interested in keeping my eye on, checking out. But
yeah,
we'll have to see.
True.
You want to hit up some Twitter questions?
Well, you know,
you got an episode of Fluff Hates. Do you hate anything this week, Fluff?
I hate everything, but you know, I did want to briefly talk about PoE. So I've killed Awakening Rate, right? And that's kind of all the things there really is to do this particular league. And I don't know, man. Like, this league has been pretty good. I think that Metamorph will lend itself to be a very good mechanic they add to the base game next league. I think that could be really, really fun. I think that Atlas could use some improvement, and it is like the core base game now, so I think that it will see quality of life improvements. I don't think there's any way that it doesn't. So I'm excited to see what they do there. Yeah.
What's your burnout level? Like, are you still, like, let's say launch day is 100%.
Sure.
Right? You're like good to go. And then we'll say like 50% is I'm wanting to play some other stuff sometimes now.
Sure.
0% is like I'm not going to play it. So where are you at?
I mean, I'm still pretty vested. I definitely think that like PoE is it's a better game to grind on. I have reached that point where I'm like, well, I could, you know, my main dude's, he's level 95, and I could grind him out to level 100, but like I just like to, like, you know, maybe I'll go kill Awakener again or do a really dangerous map and I'll die and like basically lose all progress. And so I'm like, well, I don't really want to like not do Awakener, because Awakener loot is fucking juicy as shit. And I don't want to like not do Metamorph because it's like the new league. So like I don't really care to level him more. And then, so now it's kind of in that boat where it's like, well, I guess I'll make an alt, because like it's not really efficient for me to run like low tier maps on my main guy, because I'll basically get like 0 XP. But then like you make an alt and Like I made this like chaos cyclone explosion build. It's actually like crazy fun to play. And just that theory crafting. Like the theory crafting is so fucking good in PoE. I'm still, again, if we're saying 100% at the start of the league, like where I'm super addicted and I can't stop playing versus now, I'm still like at 40%. Like I still really enjoy logging in.
Feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. But the idea of something new, a new game comes out, you're like, okay, I'm checking it out.
Yeah, I mean, like Wolcen will probably come out and I'll probably visit it. I don't know if I'm not really hyped to check it out. Yeah. But at the same time, like I am the kind of gamer that like new games don't really excite me that much unless it's
I was say, what
genre.
does anything have you hyped right now? Like what game that's not currently out has you hyped out? Besides obviously fucking Diablo 4 or PoE 2. You know what I mean? Is there anything on the map?
No.
Don't care about the Final Fantasy 7 remaster?
I mean,
don't
like
care.
Not really.
Cyberpunk,
like it's like it's a Final Fantasy 7's like, yeah, I'll probably play that, but it doesn't really have me hyped at all. And definitely not Cyberpunk, because that's not even a platformer. It's like a fucking single player game, and I hate that shit. Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, it's like Diablo. What's gonna happen in Diablo 3? What's coming for the PTR? And then what's happening next league in PoE? Like it's really the only thing that I'm thinking about on my horizon.
Gotcha. I got you.
What about you, man? Like, I know you've been playing the fucking car game and shit.
Yeah. I'm burned out on Diablo, of course, like most people. And so I tried Lost Ark, and I am I'm like level 45, I think, and 50
slow.
So I'm close. I'm close to max level on that.
Yeah.
And as I start to get closer to max level, I can kind of see. I'm starting to see some of the end game like loop. You can start to see like what the end game is going to consist of a little bit.
Sure.
Just running the dungeons, running the rifts. So I can see how that's going to fall flat, I feel like. But yeah, obviously I'm excited for Final Fantasy and Cyberpunk. Those two games just got delayed. So like, that's forever away. But there's nothing really on the horizon for me. That's just like, oh, wow. I'm just kind of like in this weird limbo.
Sure.
To the point where it's like, everybody's like, play PoE, dude.
Yeah.
And I get harassed now. It's not even like, hey, man, you should try it. It's like, what the fuck aren't you playing PoE? It doesn't even make sense.
It really doesn't make sense.
and then so if I tell people, like I've played it some, and it just didn't make me like, I wasn't for me to continue to play a game. I have to fall in love. I want to think about it like when I'm not playing it. When I'm not playing the game, I'm driving to work and I'm thinking like, dude, I can't wait to get home to play this. Or what about this build? Or what about that? Or how do I beat this boss? And like PoE didn't ever do that for me.
Let me ask you a question though, because I think this is a really unfair comparison. Okay, so you're one of your best friends in real life. Like say you're still really into Diablo 3, right? And one of your best friends IRL, like plays through the campaign. He beats the campaign and he like maybe does one bounty and he like just never wants to log in again. Like that's really the equivalent, because it's like, well, you haven't really experienced any of the game.
Yeah, and I kind of get it. My brother is kind of that way with Diablo. Like we both played WoW together, and we're super WoW addicts together. And then I'm like, dude, you're gonna love Diablo. Check it out. And I bought him the game. I'm like, you're gonna love it. Here you go. Boom. Here, fuck, I'll take care of it. Hooked him up. He gets in. We go through the campaign. He beats it, and then I get him first seasonal character. Get to 70. We're grinding. He gets some loot. He gets his first, Jade Harvester set. Whatever. He wanted to play a Witch Doctor. I tried to tell him not to.
God damn.
That's what fucking did.
Why would you let him do that,
dude? I know. So then,
friends don't let friends play Witch Doctor.
He just didn't like it, man. And he was just like, it's okay. It's a cool game. It's just not my style.
How far did you get?
I got him to play a couple different seasons, and this was like early, like not today's levels. This was probably like season 4 or 5, and I mean he got hundreds of Paragon. So he put some time.
Yeah, that's way more than what you've done. Is what I'm telling you. I'm literally telling you. You basically beat the campaign. This is a Diablo comparison. You beat the campaign, and you went in to do a bounty, and you didn't even finish it. That's basically the amount of content you've done.
I
in
did
PoE.
like 3 maps, dude. I did like 3.
Okay, so you did 3 bounties ish. Like it's a terrible comparison, but that's really like you have barely scratched the surface of the game of Path of Exile, and you're like, nah, it's not for me. I didn't really feel it.
You know, it's like I'm like a kid at the party, and everybody's like, "Yo, try this crack, man. You're gonna fucking love it." And I'm like, "No, dude, I don't want crack. I don't like crack." And everybody's just like, "Just sniff the crack." And then after a while, it gets aggressive. You know, it's like it's no longer like, "Here, try this crack." It's like, "You're gonna fucking take this crack, or I'm gonna make you."
Yeah.
You know, so I think PoE is probably in my future because there's nothing really coming out in the horizon that even really has me excited, except for those 2 games, Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy. Maybe I'm sure I'm forgetting something else, but yeah, there's nothing soon that's going to come out where I'm like, oh shit. So
sure,
yeah. So we'll have to do it.
It's not that I care whether or not you play PoE. I just think that you would actually enjoy it if you found you just like scratch the first surface and you're like, I don't really like it. But it's like you've never run a Rift and Greater Rift in Diablo kind of thing. It's like, well, you haven't really experienced the game at all.
Yeah.
So it's like I think if you actually gave it an actual shot instead of like playing a campaign and then fucking off.
fuck that campaign. Don't play the actual game. The campaign is just fucking garbage. Don't even worry about that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't even know what happens in the campaign. I paid no attention.
Well, maybe that was the problem. Maybe it was because I rushed you through the game and I'm like, go this point. Okay, you got another point. Go here. Like that's probably the worst possible way to experience the game.
Maybe
you should go and role play
and killing everything though. That made it fun.
Sure.
You know. So every league, I just need you to give me a 6-link chess piece like you did, and I'm set.
I actually didn't give you a 6-link.
What did you give me?
Weapon, but I gave you a cum heart, which has no sockets.
Yeah. Give me cum heart, dude. You know how good it feels when you equip that cum heart?
Yeah, I do. And I gave it to you.
Yeah, it's like building a big deck.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Twitter question time.
Fluff hates?
Oh yeah, Fluff hates. What do you hate today?
Gosh, could you just name something? I could tell you.
Name something. Okay, how about I got a good one. How about football? Sports. You want to go to sports?
Yeah, I live in Kansas City.
How easy this is, chat.
I fucking live in Kansas City, and I don't know if you know this. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
Chefs, okay, yep.
And like people, like my dad texted me like Super Bowl, and at first I didn't know what he was talking about.
Really? God damn.
And Mike Lindsay had gone to like go watch the game. And
so many people I know drove to the game in Kansas City because we're 3 hours away from you guys.
Right.
So.
And but at the same time, like I'm kind of instantly annoyed that they won. Hear me out.
Okay.
I live in Kansas City. Okay. And football season's now not over.
Okay.
And so I have to continue to hear conversations at work about football and pretend that I give a shit. And
so you lie and act like you care.
No, I'm just like, oh, you know, like, oh, you know, like, did it do well? Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, oh, Mahomes did, like, he's doing good. He threw a pass and it was caught with people's hands. Like, that's really cool. Wow.
It was caught in people's hands.
Like, it's just so.
Yeah.
It's I hate the sport, you know, because it's
okay.
You know, you're warded for violence, and it's just hard to watch. It's hard to watch people like actively crack their head against each other, and like they're fucking giving themselves brain damage, and like fans are just.
I don't find that hard to watch. It doesn't
it.
bother me because I'm not doing it. So
yeah, but like
you know, I'm smart enough not to do it.
Feel a little empathetic and realize they're fucking themselves up.
We're getting millions of dollars. That's trade. It's a trade system. It's like trading, and it's like not SSF, right? It's a trade system.
But now, like, all my friends are gonna have like a Super Bowl party, and it's gonna be like a thing if I don't go because I don't give a fuck about football. But like, they're all gonna be there, and they're gonna be like, "Where's Fluff?" I was like, "Oh, I just wanted to."
Do your friends actually call you Fluff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we all have cutesy names. That's how like we all.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was the same. So it's like that with me for hockey because I don't give a rat's ass about hockey. I like sports actually, and I like football. but I don't care about hockey.
Mm.
Could care less. And the Blues, which is St. Louis, where I'm from,
They went to the
won
Super Bowl.
the Stanley Cup last year.
Mm.
They won the Super Bowl of hockey last year. And so that's all I heard about for like fucking weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't care about the Blues. Don't care. So how's the Lakers doing?
Yeah. But like people were texting me like, "Oh my god, we're going to the Super Bowl." I'm like, "Do you fucking know who I am? Like, why would I care? Are you kidding?" My own dad was like, "Super Bowl." I'm like,
I actually watched the game.
I hope they don't lose the penalty kicks. I don't even know what really
penalty kicks.
Oh.
Well, if you guys are football fans, you can come talk to me. Not fluff.
It's just weird. Like now the like streamers are. It's becoming a thing on Twitch where like people watch Tim the Tatman and like Dr. Disrespect talk about football. It's like I mean that's cool.
I tried to co-stream a Thursday night football thing.
How'd that go?
Because they let Tim do it and those other guys, and I'm like, oh shit, can we do that?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, no, you can't do that. Like, Tim can
You're nobody. Yeah,
you can't fucking do that. Just because I thought it would have been cool to have a stream where you're just like chilling, watching something, together, and just to see how it played,
right?
If it was fun. I would love to do that with movies and stuff, but their implementation, like, did you ever, like, their implementation was so pathetic.
Yes.
It was like,
I remember getting that email. It was like, you've been invited to the program. Like, this sounds awesome. Watching movies. Like,
I know, me too.
I could watch some stupid fucking movie and like shit on it with chat, and it'd be hilarious.
It'd be like Mystery Science Theater.
Right.
What was it? 2000, 3000, whatever it was.
Yes.
We could do that shit, and it would be fucking phenomenal, right? But
nope.
But then you read the fine print, and it's like, okay, it's a private stream that only Prime members can attend.
Yep.
And you can't have any overlays.
No, not even a webcam. They can't even see you.
You can't have a webcam. Basically, it's like watching Netflix. It's like it would be like me turning on Netflix and then jumping in my chat.
Yeah.
Like, we could literally do this right now.
Right.
And I could be like, okay, guys, start the movie now. And then let's all go to my Twitch chat and we'll talk there. Like, that's exactly what it is.
Stupid.
And it was so lame. But someday, maybe, if that ever happens, that would be a lot of fun. And that's what I was hoping the Thursday night football thing was going to end up being for streamers. But
do we know who the Chiefs are playing against? Yeah, or is that like next weekend?
Yeah, they're playing San Francisco.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so just in case you guys.
Does Joe Montana still play for them?
I think he does. Yeah, he's the greatest ever.
It's like the only 49er
Jerry
I know.
Rice too. Yeah, Jerry Rice.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
All right, we're gonna jump into some questions, some Twitter. If you guys want to ask or submit questions to the podcast, you can submit them all the way up until about 10 minutes before we go live at ThaPChild on Twitter, at Lord__Fluffy on Twitter, or the best method is our Discords. We both have a Ask the New Meta section in Discord, so join those and then submit your questions.
By the way, guys, we're both Discord partners, so we have really high quality voice channels. Join the Discord channels, guys. Join.
Yeah, good stuff, man. It's because Discord was actually removing partnership from people.
Yes.
That's kind of weird.
And like, I had someone come in, join my Discord server, and they said, like, oh, I see you're a partner, but like, how did you ever get partner? I was like, well, we applied like right when they started it. Like, you DM me like, hey, they just applied for it. I was like, cool, sure.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Like, they just joined to find out why I had it, and they didn't, and then like left the server. I was like, why do you care?
It seems like somebody was jealous.
Yeah.
I mean, the requirements for getting it we met all the requirements, so they shouldn't have made the requirements. Right. Like, I still think that still meet the requirements.
Do we?
You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I don't think we meet them now. But back then we did. Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, if they take it away, that's pretty shitty of them.
That would be really shitty. It'd be like getting Twitch partner and then like, nah, you don't have like 50 viewers anymore. So
yeah, you stop streaming your main stuff. So fuck you for branching out.
I get if like you stop streaming for like 6 months or something, then they pull it from you. Yeah, that makes sense. But
I get that.
Like if you're still grinding and there's just no one's watching anymore, like I don't feel like it's really your fault.
Well, you tried, but we're gonna go ahead and need you to give that back.
Right.
The first question comes from Demonic Grizz, and he says, If you were made head of Blizz for a week and could add one in-game mechanic to D3, what would it be and why?
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on what we kind of touched on already, I think, Diablo 3 suffers from the ability of not being able to like brick an item. So I would add like one piece of currency that's rare that just would let you slam an item, and it would just modify it in just like an uncontrolled, unknown status of passive skill. Maybe a what are they called? The passive. Is it a passive skill? Oh my God, I feel like
The
it's been so
passive
long.
skills?
Yeah,
You're talking
like,
about the runes?
No, not the. Well, yeah, the runes too, but like the ones, the things you pick that like
Yeah,
that you
passive
can't.
skills.
Okay, goddamn.
Yeah.
I'm fucking PoE brained now.
PoE brain now.
But yeah, like so the passive skills, maybe rune on a skill that gives it to you, maybe like 20% more elemental, like whatever, right? Like just completely +3 intelligence, right? Like like getting just dominated and getting something terrible, or a wizard rune or whatever if you're playing. Like or delete from your inventory or remove a stat, anything.
Yeah,
it would be amazing.
I would get some funding for a team to steal a PoE league mechanic and put it in the game. Like you could pick almost any of them because they're all like okay in-game activities, you know. But and I'm not really joking when I say that. Like I'm kind of serious. I would be like, guys, go steal something. Like they stole our shit too. So just go borrow a league mechanic. Go put in fucking anything, dude. Like you could have added, what was it Legion? The one that spawned all the stuff?
Like the obelisk,
shrine,
yeah,
and then it spawned all the guys.
Yeah,
like you could put things like that inside of a greater rift.
Totally.
And do that, or you could do the temple mechanic. I don't know what that's called. What's that called?
Incursion.
The incursion. Like you could even do something like that. I don't know.
It's the worst one.
Yeah, I actually thought it was okay-ish, but maybe because I didn't play enough of the other ones. So
yeah. Again, we joke, but they outsourced Diablo Immortal. Like if you started at Blizzard tomorrow, like let's just outsource to Joe Schmo Games because they want to make a name for themselves, and so they're gonna take Diablo 3. They're gonna try to make it a really, really great game. They're gonna find out a way to monetize it, and if it fails, then we can blame it on them. Like, oh, well, we shouldn't have
never released it either. Like that's the thing. It's like
true.
D3's in the state it's in now. Your team continues to do work until the other team shows you a product that's like, okay, this is really fucking good, guys. I like what you did. We're gonna push this out. You know what I mean? Let's get marketing going for this and blah blah blah. So, and if they fuck it up, then you can just be like, okay, well, we just wasted a couple $1,000,000 and you guys are not fired, so you suck. You know what I mean? Right. And then nobody knows. Maybe they did that. We don't know. Maybe they did pay some schmoes and they fucked it all up. I don't know.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Hull Smash says, how do you know if a girl's the one you should get married to? How do you know if a girl is the one and if you should get married? I don't think Fluff is the one to ask, but you answer this first, buddy.
Yeah, sure, bud. No, okay. You're the one that's actually married, so you answer.
I know, that's why I kind of want to hear your perspective first before I give the real answer.
No, you can give a real answer, and then I'll shit all over it with my answer.
Okay, is that how this is gonna do? God, what's the most hallmark response I could give to this, dude? Yeah,
your wife doesn't watch these. Who cares?
My wife doesn't watch them. No, You're right. She doesn't. She's asleep right now. I would say if she makes you a better person and makes you want to be a better person, and that sounds super like cliche and shit, but it's kind of true.
What does it mean? What does that mean?
What is it like? Like if you like an example, if you don't want to sit on the couch on a Saturday eating Cheetos in your fucking underwear because you got this pretty girl upstairs that you're like, you know what? I'm gonna work a little bit extra today. I'm gonna work and make myself better. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna eat better. I'm gonna fucking work.
But that's the opposite of what you do once you get married. Once you're married, you're like, okay, I'm done. Let's sit on the couch and eat Cheetos, and like she's stuck with me. I can get fat now.
Not if you wanted to work. If you're like, she's stuck with me. Yeah, you're married. You're not going anywhere.
That's what girls do. Like girls like, oh well, you know,
No, like you
I'm
definitely
in.
let yourselves go as far as physical appearance a little bit, but you're not like, yeah, fuck it, you're not going anywhere. Here, come, I'm gonna shit under the covers and hold your
Well, you
head
guys
down
become
there.
each other's like safety blankets. Like, it's like, well, you know, maybe I feel shit about myself. I'm gonna eat this fried food, but like, you know, we're doing it together. Like, you guys, I don't know. It's a kind of a
Yeah, it's a bond, Fluff. It's a thing.
yeah, but that's
So
not
you don't
necessarily a
so you
positive
think
thing.
all right, so you think that the difference between being married or not being married
There
is a
isn't one.
difference between
There literally is not one.
that's kind of my point. That's my point. So are you at that stage now with your girlfriend that you're just like,
No, because I don't buy into the meta of
no, but I'm
life.
saying she's not your comfort. You're not going to be like, hey, let's eat this ice cream sandwich. Or she's like, hey, Fluff, doesn't this ice cream sound really good? And you're like, yeah, fuck it. Ice cream does sound good. And you kind of feed off each other that way.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's the same.
But
So you're
okay,
losing
but if
your own
I was
argument.
single, I would be working out more. I would be I would be leaving the house more than I do. And I think you would do the same thing. So like to say like, oh, well, she makes me a better person. It makes me like want to work. Like, no, it's just like you become each other's like little comfort nets. And
I don't know, man. It's a support thing. Like it's just kind of like what you're saying though in everything. Like streaming, for example.
mm,
Like I couldn't sit here and be a streamer as much as I am if my wife didn't support me and help that. You know what I'm saying?
it's like a team.
What?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, she's part of my
But
team.
that's not the question. The question is why get married? How do you know that she's the one? That it's not like why should you be with someone?
When you make that really good O face. You know what I'm saying? You just
You
know,
don't have an
man. You
answer,
just
bro.
know.
You don't have an answer. You don't have an
What's
answer.
your answer?
Uh, why? Like, my question would be to you, number one, is I need you to tell me what changed. So you were in a relationship with your wife before you married your wife, and then you married your wife. What changed?
The level of bond that we had continued to grow. It wasn't like instantly the next day. It was better, but it continued to grow.
And
More
that's
just
because of marriage, or not just
I think the
time?
marriage is just a commitment. It's a trust. It's a we both I think it depends on each person, but with me, and I speak for myself here because not everybody I experienced this from being around people. I have 1,000,000% trust in my wife. Like, and I don't think a lot of people do. Like if my wife was like, whatever, I have to go on a business trip with 15 dudes and they all look like Brad Pitt, I'd be like, cool, have fun. Like it's just a trusting thing.
Hmm.
But I think that level of trust has developed over that. And I think the marriage has helped that. You know what I'm saying? So, but could you have that without being married? Sure, I guess. You know what I mean? So it's just a commitment. Just saying, hey, you're my boo forever. Not that you're stuck with me though, like you said. Like Fluff's like, you're not going anywhere. Come here.
Yeah, dude.
I know.
I don't know. What I will say, okay, so how do you know she's the one, right? Blah, blah, blah. I think it's more important I think it's easier to become complacent. I think it's easier to become codependent. And
scared of change, scared of yeah.
So that's, I mean, more importantly than anything, that's what I would. So like I've had friends. It's like they get in these relationships and like people become so codependent that it's not even that they're with their person anymore because they love them. It's more because they're just terrified to be alone or to start over and like meet someone else and have to learn all the things about the other thing, the other person, et cetera, et cetera. So I'd be more wary of that. I don't really buy into, and I think we've had this conversation before, but I don't really buy into the whole premise of like, oh, there's one person, like she's the one.
Yeah, Fluffs into that 6 or 7 wife style.
No, it's just like I don't think there's soulmates. Like I don't think soulmates are a thing. I think that
I don't know. I think that there are definitely various people that you could gel with and have a happy life with, for sure. But to add to that, how do you know she's not the one? Like had personal experience with and seen friends where they have somebody that tries to change them the whole time.
Mm.
And it's like, if they don't accept the things that you like to do and are, as long as you're not doing deconstructive things, like you're not a drug addict or like weird shit,
Right.
you know. But like, let's say you're a gamer or a streamer, like for an example, like if I met my wife and she was like, I hate that you play video games, I would have been like, peace, you're not the one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because that's been part of my life forever.
Sure.
So she had to embrace that, even though she hates games. I don't know if she hates games, but she doesn't play games, and that's not her thing. She accepted me for that, and I think that's pretty big in
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like, she's cool with it.
hate the rhetoric of when, like, you know, you get married and you like, well, let me go ask the missus if I can do this like, let me go ask the missus if I can play games tonight with, you know, with you guys. It's like, as long as you're not like being a terrible father because you're playing games too much, or like, you know, fucking failing at work because you can't stop playing, like, just let your significant do whatever the fuck they want. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
I think that
yeah.
a lot of people don't have other things to do.
True.
I think gamers are always like, I have a hobby that I want to go do. And I feel like a lot of people that I've dated in the past didn't have hobbies.
Right. Agreed.
It was like, what's your hobby is hanging out with me. And like, that's not a fucking hobby.
Right.
Like, you need to have a hobby of something that you can entertain yourself with.
Totally.
And like, because my hobby is I want to go fucking kill some bosses and WoW.
Yeah.
And like, that's going to take me like 6 hours. So, and your hobby is watching a movie with me. Like, you see where I'm going?
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
do you like scrapbooking? Like, what can you get into? You know? And
so what's your wife into?
It's I hate to admit this, but she actually is a cell phone game player. She likes Candy Crush, and that it's not even Candy Crush. I don't even know what the fuck the name of the game is. But she likes to play those style of games and watch she's into reality TV shows. Like all the stuff that I would hate to admit, like Kardashians and Real Housewives of insert city name, things like that. So she's into those kind of things, and she's also into sports. Like she's my kids are into sports.
Really?
So she's like super obsessed with their sports. If that makes sense. Like she's that mom on the sideline yelling at the football game and basketball game and stuff.
Sure.
You know.
Yep.
But she keeps herself busy. Like, it doesn't, you know, she likes to shop too, but as long as she doesn't go crazy, you know, she'll go shopping and won't really buy much, but she just likes to she keeps herself busy.
It's good.
So, yeah. What about, you know, what's Lindsay into? What's her thing?
I think Lindsay does struggle from what you just said. It's like, well, if Lindsay has free time, like, she'd like to be spending it with me. And that does cause tension sometimes.
Yeah. But it's about don't get me wrong. My wife definitely likes to spend time.
Sure.
And I'm definitely not good at making enough time for her. And so, like, last Sunday, as an example, it was last Saturday. My brother texts me, and it's Saturday night, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Chilling." He's like, "You want to play WoW?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want to play WoW." So I get ready to go hop on WoW, and my wife's upstairs, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I think I'm gonna go play WoW with my brother." She's like, "All right, cool." And then I went down and I sat down for a couple seconds, and I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna go hang out with my wife. I've been playing games all fucking week. You know, like, I haven't spent any time with her all week." And so I went back upstairs, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna come kick it with you for a little bit." And she's like, "I thought you were gonna play WoW with your brother. What, he couldn't play?" I'm like, "No, I chose you. I wanted to come and hang out with you." And she's like, "Since when do I win over video games?" And I was like, "Oh, damn." You know what I mean? But that was kind of like, you know, maybe I, you know, need to relax a little bit.
Yeah.
But so I don't know.
Right on.
Anyways, derailed. But yeah, as soon as you can afford that big ring, you should just go ahead and buy it no matter what.
That's the worst piece of advice I've ever heard in my whole life.
Totally joking. Don't do that. You just know, man. You just know. If you have to question it, then that she's not it yet. Like, not yet. Maybe she'll be it later. I don't know. Razdog says, who will win the Super Bowl? Predictions, Fluff? Mr. KC?
Yeah. Chargers.
Chargers? Okay.
The Bulls.
Yeah, I'm rooting for KC, so we'll see. You know, they're closer to me. They're the closest team to me since the Rams fucked us over, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. It's like when the Royals won, it was weird because then we became like they had this like big party and like basically Kansas City shut down.
Yeah.
And then then we became like a baseball city for like a couple years until everyone like until we started losing again, and now everyone's like, oh, okay, Royals.
Yeah, nobody cares.
So then it's like, I don't know. And then everyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, Chiefs. Then we'll start losing and
go Chiefs. I've been calling people out all week. They're like, oh, go Chiefs. I'm like, dude, you're not a Chiefs fan. What the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, yes, I am. And like, I've been watching the Chiefs since the Rams left.
Right.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, sure you have. Coop says, who would win an arm wrestling competition between you and Fluff? Me.
Is that even a question? Is that really a question?
Definitely me. So, yeah. Maybe BlizzCon next year we'll have to do that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this last question comes from me. This is something that I've seen floating around social media, and I thought it would be funny to ask on the podcast.
Okay.
So the way this is posed is it says you're given a raw egg, okay, and you have to keep this raw egg from breaking for 1 year. If you're successful, you get $10 million. But the 10 closest people in your life know that you have this egg, and they are given the task to break this egg. If they break your egg, they get $1 million. How do you go about keeping your egg safe? Like, what are you going to do? What's your strat?
Fly to another country and put it somewhere where absolutely no one would ever find it within a indestructible case.
It's okay. So you're buying like a gun safe, and you're taking this indestructible box.
Yep.
You're gonna bury it in BFE somewhere, and nobody's gonna know.
Completely bubble wrapped in a safe, burying it in the middle of like some random ass fucking country. Only I know where it is, because I didn't tell anyone I was even flying anywhere.
Okay.
And even if they're like, oh, maybe they checked my bank statement, they saw I bought a ticket to like Bolivia. Like, that doesn't mean they know where I fucking went. There's no way they're gonna find it.
Okay.
Because I got 10 million. Like, what am I worried about buying a plane ticket across the world for? Like, I'm gonna have $10 million in a year.
Yeah, if you could keep it safe for a year.
Yeah.
What if you go back a year from now and like somebody's gotten into your safe?
How would they have gotten into the safe?
Your safe is just gone.
Scenario.
There's a fucking hotel on top of your safe now. You know?
Oh, shit. Well, I would have put it in just like a lot that was like flat and shit. Like,
you're out in the middle of the jungle, and now that jungle caught on fire, and now they've bulldozed it under. You know?
That would suck.
I don't know, man. So instantly, because you got to assume, like, at the moment, you know, you're picturing this scenario, and you're in like this boardroom, this executive or whatever. And as soon as you're walking out with your egg, you got to assume that your 10 closest people already know, like, you know, they're already on it. So I'm gonna fill my house up with eggs. I'm putting fucking eggs everywhere, just raw eggs all over everything I own, everywhere I ever go. Somehow I'm gonna have to distinguish my real egg, and then I think I was kind of with you, man. You got to go incognito, hide out somewhere, and bury that shit, you know. But got to keep it away from the animals too. So yeah, you know, it's got to be the way. If that one person was going to get the egg, who would you put money on? Like, who's going to know you? Like, oh fuck, I know what he did with it. Or who's that guy that's ruthless enough to be like, they have the egg in their hand and they're like, Fluff, and you're like, fucking don't break my egg, please don't break my egg. That's $10 million. Like, who's that one guy that's going to be like and just crush it?
Probably my neighbor, man.
You think your neighbor?
Oh yeah.
I would have pictured Christian Bale. Christian Bale's the best actor.
My brother. No.
Your brother.
No.
He got you. Oh.
Yeah.
My wife would crush it for sure. She'd be like, $1 million. That's all mine. Done.
Be like, man, I can split it with you. Make
Baby,
a deal.
We would have had 10 million. I don't care. This million is mine. I don't have to share. You know. So
it's fucked up. Marriage.
That's it, man.
Oh, she's the one.
She's the one. When she crushes your egg, she's the one. Put a ring on it. How do you know if your girl is the one and you should get married? When she makes twice as much money as you. Put a ring on There you go. You know, when she cosigns that Lamborghini. So I don't know. That's all we got today. If you guys want to submit questions to the podcast, again, tweet at us or join our Discords. The links are in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And if not, then come type the commands in our Twitch channels.
Yep.
You can find more of me. Just search for ThaPChild pretty much anywhere and you'll find me.
Oh yeah. And I'm Lord_Fluffy. Double those underscores on the Twitter. We'll see you guys next week. Yeah.
Peace.